thinking about, like, dude, Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water sold like 1 million albums over the first week, and that's the name that it had.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if someone was like, actually, that's a terrible idea to name it that. Maybe we should name it something, and we can sell 3 million records in the first week.
If you want to be a member of our nerdy metal community, hit the subscribe button. If you have any comments or questions, hit us up at worshipatributenerd@gmail.com, and we'll read yours on air. This week on the show, Brian Moore from the Browning gets nerdy about roller coaster science.
Worship and tribute, nerd.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael, aka Rickshaw, and welcome to Worship and Tribute Nerd, the show where metal dudes nerd out. But you know what? Metal chicks are welcome, too. Is that PC?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. But also, I have my co-host Fuzz with me here today.
Hey, guys. I don't know which camera to look at, so I'm just like, I'm going to look at both of them.
Yeah. And,
hey, guys.
And it's a special episode because my friend Brian Moore is here.
Ooh.
Say hello, Brian.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing?
We are amazing.
I wouldn't say amazing, but...
Is it back to being warm in Texas?
Yes. It's actually hot. I was just complaining about it earlier because it's just ridiculously hot now.
Yeah, it's the type of scenario where, like, I've seen people post, like, Thursday to Monday comparison pictures, and Thursday was like frozen with like tracks in the snow, and like the whole creek in this picture was just like looked like it wasn't there because of snow. And then the Monday picture was like sunshiny and like you could see the creek.
Don't let your dog walk outside without shoes on.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
What's up, Mother Nature? What's happening? What's going on?
We're grounded, bro. We are grounded.
Yeah. It's true. She sent us all to our rooms without
Mother Nature has displayed her authority.
Yeah, she's been putting us in our place lately, guys.
Good.
You know, yeah.
We deserved it. it.
Just a couple, just a couple quick 1-2s. Jaw's a little sore, but we're getting. My trainer tells me to keep going, so.
A 2-piece and a biscuit straight to the jaw.
But yeah, the reason that we met was because you used to do a lot of band work, for Oceano at the time when we met.
Yep, I remember that.
Who else did you work for at the time?
I met you on All Stars, right?
Right.
Yes.
And in 2015 was that? Yeah, so I was working for Oceano, and prior to that, I had also done a tour, like, working for the Browning before I was, like, in the band or involved with the band.
Right.
But yeah, I was working for Oceano and agreed to do a tour where load-in was at 11 a.m. every day, and just blasting hell yeah at 11 in the morning while I'm trying to fight someone for a merch spot. So, but yeah, that was days. I think we met in it was Texas, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was San Antonio,
I believe so. Yes. And and we got along. We had this
warehouse.
And then eventually you started, riding with us in the van every once in a while, and then you worked for us at a later tour also, like that Alisana tour.
Yeah, because I couldn't go on it.
Yeah.
That was the tour of disappointment for us, because it was like we knew the band was pretty much going to break up. So it's like when you know that you're going to all disband and you're like on a tour, you're like, this is happy and fun, but also secretly sad also.
Yeah.
So.
No, you didn't show your emotions. Yeah.
No, and I mean, I was there. I remember the day, and it was not in a sick venue or at a sick show, or it was a very just like, oh.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so this is happening. Wow, this is depressing. All right, guys.
It's not every day you're like, hey guys, before we go on stage today, probably gonna break up. So like, all right, okay.
It blew my mind that happened because what was it? Hail Mary, that last record was probably the best record you guys ever put out.
I mean, it was heavy.
It was heavy. No, it was.
It was like unnecessarily heavy.
Dude, Gift of Death, was it? Gift of Death, the breakdown at the end of that song.
Green Eyes.
Slam,
I love,
dude.
My favorite part of like doing lights for you guys was the end of Your God Is Too Small. Just the ridiculous like nah.
Yeah.
Like
just
that was
super
sick.
out of nowhere slow breakdown. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
that tour was
and it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous, though, to me that, like, you know, a year later, it's like all those songs that we always played from the beginning of the band were just, like, permanently attached to my hands and my thought process of when I was thinking about it. But, like, we didn't even play Hail Mary songs enough to, like, stick. Like, a year later when the band was done, like, I couldn't even remember. You know, I was like, oh yeah, this is a song that we played, you know. So
yeah, that's kind of how I am with like this stuff. Because when I even first started like playing with the Browning, like it was all material that was all, you know, like 2 to 3 years old or older when I started playing it. And like at the time, I knew those songs, you know, like front to back. But now I'm like, I literally have not even a clue of how this could have, you know, like been played.
Yeah. Also, I seen, you know, I'm tight friends with Adam, and we stay in touch every once in a while. But didn't you guys start like a Mario slam band or something like that?
Yeah, we did. We've only done one song so far. That's Super Slam Bros, by the way.
Hell yeah!
We've only done one song so far. But yeah, I was chilling out there for like way longer than intended for last year. So shout out to Adam for being the absolute homie. But yeah, and it was just something where I was like, why don't we just, you know, we can do this all in-house. I can track this on my computer and we can make a song about when there's no rules, you know, like if you want to make a song about like, you know, being pissed in Mario Kart, like we can 100% do that,
and we'll make it heavy as
yeah,
that's amazing.
Dude, it does slam,
and it just exists
so hard.
It just exists for fun, you know. Like there's no just like pressure on it or like, oh God, we got to do another this or we got to do another that. Like it's just like, oh, that's, you know, that is something that exists, and if we want to go back to it and revisit it, we can, and, you know, but there's no, like, you guys got to put out another album, like.
Yeah. And that's the way it's starting to look, you know what I mean, for, like, a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like,
even if, I love it.
Yeah, even if you're, like, an established band, like, lots of people are just like, nah, man. I don't want to spend my life touring. We're just gonna write songs when we want. You know what I mean? So,
and dropping a song here or there every couple months. I think that's way smarter than putting out a record every 2 years. You know
how the album sort of as a format is relatively like, unless you are trying to, you know, you have a story that you told in 12 songs. Then it makes sense. But at this point, it's like people's attention span isn't even enough to get through a song. So it's like, why, you know, unless I have the material, like, why am I going to write 12 songs where 8 of them won't even get clicked on, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's good to see that artists are in control of their music a lot more than they used to be. And it's nuts how much even, you know, not saying like, oh, making so much money or blah, 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 but like when it goes directly from DistroKid to my bank account, you know, or someone's bank account and just being able to be like, oh, that's how much money there is coming in from that, instead of, you know, like the whole tree and process, like, it's empowering for artists.
I realized that a lot of people lately too, like once we hit a certain point and it was like, you know, like put out your own music, we've got all the capabilities, like more people have been like, That's how much you make when it goes straight into your pocket. I didn't even know,
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah you'd have
sweet.
no idea.
Because, ASCAP sends me like $7 every 6 months, and I'm like, okay.
I don't even have an ASCAP account.
Well, you're missing out on like a sandwich every 6 months. So I'm just saying.
A couple of these lime green monsters every month.
There you go. That's a way to look at it. Very positive.
And without it, I'd be pissed at work at least once a month. And Adam's doing crazy good with his Twitch. Like, it's insane.
Oh yeah, he got partner, dude.
That he
got partner, and
he put all of his eggs in that basket, and then he like won.
He just went for it.
He won the
dude.
game.
And
you know what I mean?
He's killing it. It's so awesome. But we're not here to talk about Adam.
Yeah, that's true.
Brian.
We're here to talk about you.
Hey, we can be. I'll put Adam over this whole podcast.
Adam's a great human being, but he's not here right now.
Do you have plans, with Browning to as of right now to fucking get out there,
record
and
or do anything
shit?
once this is over with?
I mean, I don't want to say that there's concrete plans that I know of, because there's not, as far as I know. Right. Like I said, our singer just had his first child, and obviously with just the insanity of the world going on and everything. But I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility to see us, on some festivals in a couple years or something like that. And I know that Johnny has been very, very hard, plugging away at, creating the actual best new songs for the band that he can. But he's got other projects and stuff like that. So right now it's just been, it's just sort of been on the back burner, not in a negative way, but just something where it's I think it's time to give that its space for a little bit, and, let people miss it and let people miss the shows and the music and everything like that. And not, I feel like a lot of people are about to put out some albums, so just not trying to be in that ridiculous oversaturation that's about to unfold.
Oh yeah, it's about to get ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
everybody's dropping new singles, just a ton of bands dropping new singles right now. So
I mean, it's probably going to be really redundant if you watch the show every week, but me and Fuzz and one of our other homies have a quarantine project, so
Oh yeah, no, I fully back it. But I think that we'll hear a lot of the same metalcore album get released in 2021 through, probably this time 2022, where, they'll probably have lots of title buzzwords like virus and lockdown and things like that. And, so I just don't want to, personally don't want to get mixed into just that sort of blur and not put out something that's the full caliber or, what it can be and needs to be.
Yeah, we just went full blown 2007 metal, 2006
when it was
metal,
good.
Seriously, I've showed a demo
Mushroom Head style stuff, or
not that amazing.
Yeah. I mean, lots of two-step, poppy
that
metal
scene kid metalcore
with breakdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sick.
I've showed a lot of people that are just whoa, dude, this is when metal was fun, and things like that. One of my friends was it's cool that your homies can still write the Bled and stuff. And I was like,
take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. I love the Bled.
Yeah. No, and it's sick to have the capabilities right now to do, whatever you want to. Literally, and I know that you're no stranger to it, both of you being in the bands that you've been in, but it's a lot easier to be we're suddenly going to kick into a country part, or we're suddenly going to kick into this other thing because, I have this Kemper behind my computer that I can just turn a knob and a whole different world of sound possibilities opens up. And And now it's just like, who cares anymore? You know, like,
Yeah, right.
I only have time to put out music that I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. So, like,
Yeah. I mean, I'm ready for metal to like come back, and like I know that everybody's kind of thirsty for it. There's only been so many songs or albums that have dropped over the since 2020 started or whatever. But like,
yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for people to just come back strong and like metal to get bigger again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like metal was already kind of dying. It was like drying up, and then pandemic hit. No one even knows how the scene is in any city. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I'm ready for
definitely, it's a
blow up.
new, just sort of like, and even it was something that I'd spoken about with Adam, and even I think is like a perfect example is like Spirit Box, where they went into this whole thing, being down the chain on like a metalcore tour, and it's like they're coming out of it with no having to, expense touring the world and playing hundreds of shows or whatever. They have managed to just, coming out of it, they're not opening that tour anymore in my head,
Right.
like
Yeah.
they managed
Right.
to
No,
just
you're
sort of,
100% correct.
Yeah.
and so
Well,
like
but
seeing
they
that
did everything really
with,
smart.
with just like, there's no reason to be, because there were agents and stuff trying to get people to like, oh yeah, can you like agree to this tour, like a year from now, and it's like, who knows, we could be the biggest band on the planet before the end of the year, or we could be,
Yeah.
why are we agreeing to this now? And
I
just
think
not
whenever-
knowing where the balance sits right now, like.
Right.
I think whenever Dance Gavin, that tour that was about to be the biggest tour of the year for like, our kind of music, when they like rescheduled and then had to cancel that one and then reschedule again, like it got to a point where like all of us were like, why even plan? Like let's just see how it goes,
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, no,
But-
I'm even, and I know that everyone has their own sort of like way to deal with it. Like that's sort of where I still am, where I'm like, this could still kind of go either way in some aspects. So I'm just like, I'm
Right.
not, I'm not throwing a definite on anything ever. Like,
Hell no.
I could not be in the mood to, like, I could cancel plans tomorrow, like,
Yeah.
let alone planning weeks down the line now, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, as long as we get a robot body and then we run it from our room, then we could go wherever we want. You know what I mean?
I love a robot body.
Yeah, honestly, it's weird how, like, I know that people had been saying it was coming, like, forever, but just, it's weird how Black Mirror things have, like, truly become. Like, I think of the episode of him just sitting in that room that's all screens, and, like, he can't ignore ads and stuff like that, because they're like, you gotta pay for this, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's
I definitely think that there will be... I loved the Bring Me the Horizon release that came out, like, and all of this. They had that Dear Diary song that was, like, just a nuts, old metalcore, like, song. And they did that weird, sort of like baby metal style, like, K-pop song is on there and stuff. Like, I'm just interested in people putting out, like, literally whatever they're like, this is what puked out of my brain,
And I realized, too, that I even missed some of the stuff that came out because it was just like, Twilight Zone for such a long time that it's like even when it, like I think I was I got into Childish Gambino again, and then I kind of like looked
sick,
up. I was like, when is he gonna put out new music? Because it's been a while. And then I look and I realize March of last year, like the week the pandemic hit, he put out an album, and I didn't even know. And I'm like, what? Like, so I listened to that for the first time like the other day. So and I'm a huge Gambino fan, so I was mind blown. So
no, it's definitely sick. There's definitely a lot of just like, because there's so much else to focus on. For me, it's been a nice break from like, oh my god, what is this band doing this week, and what is like blah blah
Right.
blah, and like just I'm like, oh, what am I gonna listen to on my 15-minute drive to the post office, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there's new Architects out, so I can listen to that, or there's
Yeah.
like anticipating things as much, and just being like, oh, this is something that exists,
Yeah.
so like this is cool.
This came out today. Awesome.
Yeah,
I, was gonna
I feel like
listen to it.
expectations at this point are
There
like
are
a
none.
lot lower now.
There are none. There are
or
no
a clean
expectations
slate. You know what I mean? It's like no one
And yeah, there's
is
no-
that disappointed because it's like they just
There's
want
no
something
precedent.
at this point. Yeah.
Because I'm kind of curious to see how weird people get, like how like pushing boundaries and stuff. Like, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna pull out all the stops and just make a record that we want to make.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
And also, there's no excuse to have a shitty record because you've had all this time to write new music. So there should be no shitty records.
Unless you're known for being shitty.
Unless you're known for being shitty, yes.
Which, let's be fair,
Most of them are. I'll say it. Don't worry, I'll say it.
Yeah, that's your job, Bo.
Yeah, it's the only reason I'm here is to just be mean.
so something that's interesting to me and you can, we can go however deep into this like you want or not, is like, because I got into music, like the music industry, like later down the line, just how many times before that, like we have been in the same place, or at the same show and stuff
Yeah.
like that before any of us knew each other. And I have like a specific memory of one of the Warped tours that you guys did, of like walking through the amphitheater while Iwabo was playing like on the amphitheater stage and just being like, I've literally never heard anything like this in my life. And seeing about 1,000 of the like Metal Just Got Gay shirts like at Warped.
Yeah. I remember there was a festival that we played in Vegas, and it was like, I remember that like we had this overabundance of Iwabo jerseys, the ones that look like Grizzly jerseys. And I remember we just had like, I think some of them got lost or something, but then we ended up getting the boxes back. So then at that festival, we just had this crazy amount of jerseys, and we were like, let's just sell them for like cheaper than normal. And like, I remember like a bunch of industry people that day were just like, I am seeing this freaking dumb Iwabo jersey everywhere. And I'm like, people probably don't care about our band anymore, but they love that jersey.
Yup.
They love that merch. So,
Dude, I love that. I had that green soccer jersey that I either lost on tour, or maybe it was in my bag that like got stolen when we got our stuff stolen. But I think about it like a couple times a year about how much I'm like, dang, that jersey was sick.
One thing about being friends with them is that I always get the hook up on that. Like, Steven texted me about that jersey. I remember him being like, would you wear this? Straight up, before they even put it out, he was like, Fuzz, would you wear this jersey? Because I love jerseys. So I was like, yep. He goes, all right, cool, we're doing it. I'm like, all right, cool, that's sick.
I always have thoughts on like like shirts, like favorite shirts or shoes that you just neglected all of a sudden and threw away or got rid of, and then later regretted.
I was like, get rid of shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is I like got into like reselling stuff long before I really had like any idea about it. Like I was just getting, at the time I was literally like, I'm getting rid of this and just being like, dang, I sold so much cool stuff for like $8. That I could have, I would have had some sick stuff.
Well, and like
just
for me,
all,
pretty much all the bands I've been in, there's always been a point in time where I'm like, I'll get a shirt. That's a really cool shirt. I'll get a shirt later. Or, in Iwabo, it was like, we have some really cool shirts. I'll leave it in the van in my spot, and then I'll have that shirt when the band's over. Yeah. And, so I had a collection of just like a shirt here and there from every tour from over the years. And then our trailer got stolen. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
I have no Iwabo shirts at this point. And like some of my homies have like 7 that they just don't want to wear.
I have like 20 of them. Yeah. I can't fit into them anymore. I'm huge now. I was trying to squeeze into larges and extra larges back then, dude.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore.
But it's such an upsetting thing to be like, that was the band that I dedicated like 6-7 years of my life to, and I don't have nothing.
You left me.
Like I have like a couple of posters.
Dude, I got tons. Dude, that whole wall's got Iwabo shit on it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, the funny thing is about that too. So I put like the vinyls in a frame to where it's like the vinyl cover and then the record. And I have 3 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them I bought because after the band ended, I was like, I don't have these, so I'll just. I ran into one at the record store, bought one online. John Gainey sent me one because he had an extra one. You know what I mean? And it's like, why do I not have the shit that I owned
Why did you
already?
Just ask? I had that one. I would have given you that one. You made me pre-order that one.
Which one? Late for Nothing?
Late for Nothing?
Oh, really?
You texted me one Saturday or Sunday morning. We're like, yo, you should pre-order the new record. And I was like, is it good? And you were like, I think so. So I pre-ordered it, and I got the vinyl. And I don't even know where the it's at. I know it's at my house somewhere.
Yeah, I literally
paid it to you.
I paid like, $28 for it, and then $10 in shipping for some, and it's like my own band that I was.
Yeah, your name's on the inside of it. Yeah, I've done literally the exact same thing because I don't try. I'm just like, yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll totally get you one, no worries, blah blah blah, and then they're like, oh sorry, I don't care at all actually, so I didn't do that.
The most upsetting thing that happened like that is in the final year of the band, they were like, let's do Hail Mary cassette tapes, and they're red, all red cassette tapes with black lettering, and they come in the little cassette case with a book and everything, and I was like, those are so dope, and they're like, don't worry, we're sending all of you a copy.
We'll send you a box of them.
Never once have I held one in my hands.
Dude, you want some Surrounded by Monsters merch? We got a whole shipment of merch in when we decided to call it quits.
Was it OG?
No. It's all the shitty merch.
I want some of that OG merch.
You designed it. Why do you not have those? You designed all that.
Exactly. This is the whole story I'm telling right now.
All right. Anyway. So aside from these...
That's a good segue because, like I was talking about, like being in the same place at the same time. I was at a Surrounded by Monsters show at another Hole in the Wall in Stager, Illinois.
Wow!
And it was on that tour with King Conker.
Nice. I'm sorry you had to sit through that. I apologize.
That's dope.
Hey, we've all been there, brother.
Oh, dude. No, I fucking loved the music, just hated the people I was in band with. I'll probably get, yelled at for saying that, but whatever.
It happens.
But that's cool, dude. I'm trying to think of Illinois. I'm trying to think of where we were.
Dude, literally just like the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and it's a place that had a big stage on one side, but the shows were never on the one with the stage.
So we played the floor.
Yeah.
On the floor. Yes, that show was actually fun. I have pictures from that show. I took a picture of James because I always made fun of him for hardcore dancing whenever he was singing. He looked goofy because he's so big. Nice. And so I took pictures of him to show him. I remember that. That's awesome. Well, cool. I'm sorry you had to sit through that.
If those walls could talk, they would say, you guys are going to be friends.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, whatever.
If pre-sales could talk.
Right? Oh, man, if pre-sales could talk, Nuclear Blast would have never gave us money, let me tell you. Anyway, so what else have you been doing what else you been doing to occupy your time, aside from writing killer tunes and hanging out? What else have you been doing?
What drives you nerdy, your nerdism?
Ooh.
So I have a few things. I'm like a super weirdo in that not like I love pro wrestling, but I absolutely hate like WWE as a company and just what they do like in their practices and stuff like that. So I like keep up with pro wrestling, but I don't watch it. Like
I heard AEW. I heard AEW was like the way to go nowadays.
Yeah, I like AEW, and they've had their fair share of things where it's also a little like, could you, like, I don't feel that comfortable spending my money here, but, like, so I will watch just, like, 3 hours a day of, like, recaps, like, YouTube recaps of, like, what goes on in the professional wrestling world, and other than that, I also, like, I nerd out on, like, roller coaster science. So I'll just watch. That
is probably one of the best things I've ever heard. Roller coaster science.
I don't pretend to, like, I could design or build a roller coaster, but I'll watch just, like, videos on their engineering and, like, what it takes to, like, you know, operate a roller coaster and design a roller coaster and stuff like that. And just the fact that, like, people are, like, putting these things together, you know, like, they're taking a crane and putting all this stuff together.
Oh my god.
So that's how I spend, like, most of my time is between pro wrestling and, like, roller coaster stuff and just, you know, I've been skateboarding a little bit. I watch a lot of skateboarding stuff, so
nice.
But yeah, I try to. It's interesting because, like, I don't practice anything nearly as much as I should, like, even as far as guitar goes, like, but I will watch other people, like, do it and practice it and perform it and, like, make those adaptations in my mind, and then the next time that I go to it, like, I feel better. I don't know if I'm actually better at it, probably not, but I'm like, oh, I understand the mechanism of, like, what this needs to be. So with that, I've just been sort of dissecting that with everything, especially wrestling and just music and roller coasters. So
that's seriously, I don't even know what to say to that. That's incredible. Really,
I mean,
it is.
the list of things that people nerd out on are insane, especially with this channel, because, like, we have, you know, roller coaster engineering.
That's the best one. The next one is the hot dogs. Chicago hot dogs. That was
Dave.
There's a whole
Dave
history
from Horse
of
the Band. Dave from Horse the Band was like, I don't know what I'm nerdy about, and then we start talking, and he's like, hot dogs? Yeah, I really like hot dogs.
And he took us through his house and showed us all of his Chicago dog memorabilia. He buys the Chicago dog kits and has them shipped to his house so he can make Chicago dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny just to see, you know, like, everyone's passionate about something in some way or another, you know, like, you never think that, you know, like, you'd be passionate about, like, whatever fertilizer, but someone's in the business, you know, someone's whole life is just like, I deal with, you know, different types of manure and I make fertilizer out of it and people need this service, so blah, blah, blah. Like,
I'm very passionate about manure.
Are you boys talking about manure without me?
You know what, dude? It is crazy because, like, when I bought a house, my wife and I bought a house, I was like, man, I don't want to take care of the yard. And now it's like, oh, man, I got to do this. I got to make sure my yard looks good. I hated yard work as a kid, and now I'm just like, oh, it's got to look great. I have to do it. I have to.
I picture you out laying in the grass with a pair of scissors going,
you know
there what? We go. There we go.
Funny story. My grandma, for real, she won Yard of the Month several times. Way back when. And she wouldn't even use a weed eater. She would get down on her hands and knees and just with the scissors cut the weeds so it'd be perfect.
Nice.
She was crazy. That woman was crazy. I love her to death. But she was crazy. I'm not that crazy.
Lawn of the Month. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to get it this year.
That's high praise. That's high praise.
It doesn't get any higher than that.
Even though she had Yard of the Month, I swore she could have trimmed those bushes a little bit more.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
It's my grandma, bro.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. You set me up.
I did. I threw you the alley-oop, dog. I threw you the alley-oop. But it's all good. It's all cool.
But, yeah. So, anyway, you know, what else you got nerdy going on besides roller coaster science?
Dude, I don't know if it gets any
I do get, like, it's so funny because I'll just start telling people about stuff like that, and they're like, I don't care. I don't understand what you're saying. Like,
how do you not get it? How do you not get this?
I'm like, they're taking a giant metal car and they're stapling like sacks of meat to it and they're sending it out at 100 miles an hour with no windscreen and no like, and people, they just let it happen. Like people sign up to just get like, just thinking about like, it's nuts.
I can only imagine.
I love it.
I could only imagine the conversation that he might try to have with someone about roller coaster science and then be like, I don't care, but I do want to talk about hot dogs for a second.
Oh, did you say roller coaster science?
About roller coasters, but, dude, speaking of hot dogs too, new metal is another thing that I'm very passionate about.
Dude, yes.
I spent a lot of time just breaking down records from 2001 and stuff like that.
Dude, it just so happens that me, Fuzz, and Tim Gorgon talk about new metal on a series that we have called New Metal Nerds.
We're the new kids on the block.
Or New Kids on the Block.
And you kids on the block.
Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, dude, that's Korn's my favorite band of all time, so we're old and we love that new metal, that music, that genre was so sick. Yeah, so many good bands.
That's what made, like, I had heard heavy music before that and I thought it was okay, but then when Korn, which led to the Limp Bizkit, which led to the Deftones, it was like, that's whenever I was like, I gotta get into this shit, you know?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It just like blows my mind the things that they put like on the radio and that they put like I was listening the other night to Toxicity like all the way through as an album and like the opening song on that, Prison Song, and like just being like, how did anyone get this greenlit? Like how did anyone get this like out and just thinking about like, dude, Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water sold like 1 million albums over the first week, and that's the name that it had. Yeah, like imagine if someone was like, actually, that's a terrible idea to name it that. Maybe we should name it something, and we can sell 3 million records in the first week. But just the fact that like things like that. Like that anyone took a chance on things like that, and the fact that it made anyone millions of dollars like is just astonishing to me. Like I love it.
To hear some of like whenever, so I don't know if you watched the special on Head after he had left Korn. It just recently came out a while back, and he was talking about how after Follow the Leader came out, he was like, I had like 7 digits in my bank account. Yeah. He was like, people paid me that much money for the music we put out. And it blows my mind that whole genre made as much money as it did. It's like putting it in perspective like that. That's ridiculous. It should have never made that much money.
Yeah, and it's like, but the thing is like the difference between then and now is like, we used to have, labels or producers and film and stuff that were just like, I think that your vision sounds great. Let's do it. And then now we've gotten to a point where like everything that they producers
have a vision already, and they want you to make that.
They have their hands around your throat, and they're like, all right, give me the art, and and you're like, well, you're already suffocating me, and then like, well, just give me the art though, give it to me, and then I'll squeeze every time that you suck. It takes me
like 20 minutes to draw something. I know that it blah blah blah.
Right.
Like
So
it's definitely just thinking that like. Someone, whatever label put, however much money into Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water, right? And like they send the album back to the band, and like the first thing he does, is like say a song, that says the F word 40 plus times in it, like. We always talk about in the van like how many kids were trying to convince their parents to like, oh, it's fine, like that sticker's just, it's gonna be fine, blah blah blah, and they like put the cassette or the tape in or the CD on the way home, and the parents were like, what in the hell is this? Like,
dude,
if I say 2 more times, that's 46 fucking up, run.
That reminds me of this time that like so in high school we went to Colorado to play at this Army football game. It was a big football game in Colorado, and our band went to play, and like apparently a lot of bands all over Kansas were like invited to play and in Colorado. But anyways, so we went down there for like the weekend, and we had a bus with like the TVs and stuff, and
Charter.
yeah, and they were like, hey, if anybody has anything that they might want to play for fun, cool. And I just so happened to buy like this unofficial Limp Bizkit, DVD or tape or something.
Yeah,
and
unauthorized is what they called it.
Yeah, and someone was like, dude, you should get them to play that, and I was like, well, the thing is, there's going to be swearing. and somebody was just like, dude, who cares? Just make them do it. And then so someone up front was like, oh, yeah, you have something? Well, yeah, we'll put it in. And I was like, oh, no. And then, but I was also like that. I was that kid that was just like, oh, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Even though I knew what was going to go on. They put it in. And the very first scene is like someone goes, I want to Fred Durst. and like the whole bus was like, and all the teachers were like, nope, and they took it out. And I didn't know this at the time, but like one of the chaperones was like my friend's mom, and I was in the back of the bus going, oh, I mean, it's not even that bad. Like, come on. It's just like every band is going to have little fangirls. And then, like after that happened, it played for just a little bit, and like they just went into talking about the band, and there was no swearing when they were just talking about the upcoming of the band. So I was like, oh, you guys are overreacting, and there's not going to be that much swearing. We just want to hear about the band. And like I apparently was like drilling so hard with like what I was saying that like the chaperone lady was just like getting more and more upset, and I didn't know anyone up there was like listening to me. I thought I was just bitching to my friends or whatever. Yeah. And then at a certain point, she just stands up and is like, "You kids are freaking terrible!" And she like full blown cried, like,
dude, you ruined that woman's life.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. Man, I think I'm sorry.
I've been responsible for that a fair few times. Everyone, like, I went to Catholic school my entire life, like private school.
Yeah,
same dude. 12 years.
Same here. And just like everyone, and I think it's probably true, but like every teacher told us all through, like elementary school and into high school, like, you guys are the worst class of kids there's ever been.
Thanks. We'll take that.
Oh, every Catholic teacher says that to their students. Dude. It's like a rite of passage.
Oh,
Dude, the best thing is like, and thinking about it in hindsight, of course, I didn't know then, but like, like my parents are paying thousands of dollars for me to go to this school, and then all your you're wasting your parents $8,000 and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was told to be here. Like,
I mean, technically, you're wasting it because I can't be taught. So
yeah, this sounds like this sounds like not my fault.
Dude, what was your sick Catholic school name?
Saint Rita of Cascia High School.
Ooh, mine was Sacred Heart.
Heart.
Sacred Heart. Yeah.
Like the hospital.
Yeah, it was a terrible place. There were a total, and this is no exaggeration, there was a total of about 150 people in the entire school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm from a really, really small racist Catholic town in Texas.
I'm moving to one of those in Illinois. It's terrible, but
sounds fun.
But there's so much trauma that comes with going to Catholic school for like X amount of years, and so much stuff when you come out of it that you're like, I have to unlearn like all of this. Like I was taught completely the wrong way.
Yep.
Like,
oh yeah.
Well, it's like like if you have a little fish tank, the fish are going to stay real small, and then all of a sudden you get out of high school.
They only grow to the size of their environment.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa, the world is way bigger than I thought it was. And then all of a sudden your brain...
Oh, it goes beyond like 103rd and Western right up the street?
Dude, I remember getting told as an 8th grade, because I started listening. I remember walking around towards the end of the year in 8th grade. I had Family Values 99 and Significant Other I would bring the cases to school and I'd listen to my Walkman. Yeah, bringing that up again.
Yeah, Walkman.
And my teachers would get so pissed off because of I was starting to dress. I was starting to wear Dickies, and my Dickies were getting baggier, and like it was starting to get ridiculous. And they were just like, "What is wrong with you?"
The ankle were getting just bigger and bigger.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
You would like run up the stairs and fall because your pants like automatically went over your shoes,
shredding the bottoms of it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I remember questioning, because at first I was doing it to piss them off. I would question, I'd like to try to contradict them. Well, then I got a little bit older and I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually right. They're idiots. And then so I started trying to, like, the only reason I read the things I was supposed to read is so I could find and write down things that would contradict everything they were saying. And it was just like, you're such a lost cause. Like, yeah, no shit. I figured it out a long time ago. I'm ready to get out of here.
There's so much just like everyone's so... Like, I don't know if it just stems from a communication issue or what it is, but it seems like everyone is just like 1 second away from just like their entire life going to just like nuts.
Yes.
Like, like you're just like, I'm just trying to understand what 3 times 7 is, and they're like, you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me. You're like,
it's God. The answer is God.
They're like, you can't act like that when you're standing in my school, and you're like, I'm standing on my jeans, so I'm not.
You're like, technically, I'm on my own property.
So suck this, nun. I did get slapped by a nun.
I'm standing on my pipes.
Oh, Lee Pipes, holla at you. Anyway,
standing on my trip pants. That was me. I was in the trip pants, so
nice.
Okay.
Looking hard as nails, bro.
Oh,
you were hard. Oh,
wow.
It's the pants made it very difficult.
Yeah,
I understand. I mean, we wore Dickies. Those things, you could barely move in those things. But you looked sick.
We've been going for a while. We're pushing like
we could talk
over
about
50
more
minutes.
Catholic school stuff if you wanted.
It literally, and like this isn't just like an overshare by any means, but like, I see a therapist every week and stuff like that. And one time she just like asked me about like, oh, so how was it coming up in the Catholic school system? And it was like a suitcase that just went like, like, and just like shot out of it. Like
well,
how long am I not touched? Yeah, how long am I here today? Maybe we ought to stay away from that. Be honest with you, that's a whole nother can of worms, huh? Oh man.
Yeah,
you want to cancel your next couple clients?
We bring up our daddy issues on air sometimes. So, and you know what? It feels good to let it out. You know what I mean?
It's like the song. Or, is that an album or a song from?
Oh, Issues.
Well, I'm combining, I think, Daddy and Issues.
Okay, so
right,
Daddy.
yeah,
so
right.
Okay, on Issues there is a song called "Hey Daddy," and then on self-titled there's a song called "Daddy," that they never played live until the 20th anniversary of the self-titled album. Then he finally played it live.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about Korn, aren't we?
Yeah.
Dude, and like I think about, because I like got into Korn on the like when they were already like a pretty commercial band, like Twisted Transistor and like Coming Undone and stuff like that.
Yeah. See on the other side.
And then I was in a Korn cover band. I don't know if we've ever discussed that, but
that is amazing, Brian.
I was in a Korn tribute band called Freak on a Leash.
Nice.
But just going back and being like, oh, dude, even these like songs like Coming Undone and stuff like that, like they're so different. They're so just like, like just that like marching sort of heavy.
Right. Yeah.
I mess with it,
Dude, the newest record is. We did an episode on how sick the new record is. So.
Jonathan,
yeah, well, and like combining the groove and stuff like that they had in 1994 and 9 and stuff like that with, you know, guitars that can actually put up with it and amps that can handle it and stuff like that. Like, I feel like a lot of those bands are, especially, you know, if New Limp Bizkit ever happens, like, the tools at Wes Borland's disposal now are so much so even more than when he was, you know, doing it initially.
Right.
PRS just made him a sick 4-string guitar that I saw, so hopefully there's, you know, we get Nookie Part 2.
I was gonna say that'd be sick because that's what he was using in Nookie. Is he played didn't he play bass or did he play?
It was a 4-string guitar.
That's so sick.
It had guitar pickups in it.
That's so
I've
sick.
watched Woodstock 99.
Me too, 1,000 times, dude. I love that shit.
So me and a couple of friends were talking about doing a Korn cover band, but I don't think that they're serious because it's taking them a long time to do their stuff. You know what I mean?
And ask him which one of the friends he
And
didn't ask
it's
who's
like-
the biggest Korn fan.
Well, I
It's not
apologize,
that
but
easy of music by any means either.
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah.
super messy and, like, complicated, just, like, stuff. So people are like, oh, yeah, sick, we'll do these Korn songs.
yeah,
It's like, oh,
especially
this is
when
hard.
it comes to bass too. Like the bass is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
wait, this is weird.
because he
you
doesn't
know?
play it like a bass. He's playing it almost like a percussive instrument.
Well, he goes
you
back
know?
and forth. You know what I mean?
He,
It's like
dude, what's
sometimes
crazy is he
he's
can
just like-
rip as a
Yeah.
bass player.
No,
He's actually a pretty solid bass
he's an
player
amazing
too.
Like,
bass
thinking
player.
about the somebody someone bass line, like the boo da da do da da do da da da, like, but then you get, you know, like Falling Away From Me, where you might as well just be taking the input cable and going like zzz,
Yeah.
like,
you know what I mean? Like,
But that was what they wanted. They didn't want you to know the difference between the kick drum and the bass. They've said early
and
on
I
in a
did
lot
it.
of their interviews, they
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I
And
did
so,
not.
dude, that's like I could probably play, and I'm not exaggerating, every song from the first 4 records. But I could play it all the way through right now on drums, no problem, because I learned almost
back
every
to
one of them.
David albums.
Oh, dude, David. I mean, Jonathan wrote the drums for Follow the Leader and everything after that, but David's first 2 records were incredible.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit that he.
It's just
stopped
so
writing
funny
drums.
listening to stuff like from the lawless time when nothing was tracked to a metronome. And so, like, you're trying to, like, record a cover of it, and it's just like, like, speeding up and slowing down. Like,
They all recorded together. Like they would perform the song live. That's how they recorded it in a lot of those old school recordings and stuff.
I've even seen videos of, like, when Cannibal Corpse used to do that. Like, they're tracking Cannibal Corpse albums in a room, and I'm just like,
wow.
who put money into this? Like, who was like, this is sick? Like, I love that thinking.
Yeah.
Like, just that, you know, someone back in the day saw that it, you know, like you said, they saw the vision behind it and were like, get it out there, like, the people need this.
yeah, now people are like, if you haven't already sold 1 million of your mixtapes, we won't give you money.
Yeah.
So,
We absolutely don't want anything to do with you.
yeah.
And, oh man, this has been f***ing fun. Oh my goodness, all this new metal talk's got me really stoked right now.
Let's do a part 2 sometime, you know?
We
I'm always down to
can.
talk, so.
What we'll do is we can do a new metal one. Maybe we can squeeze him and Tim on, and we'll do a new metal podcast. You can join the new metal podcast since you like it so much.
I do have, I'll wear shorts. I can show off my Wes Borland tattoo, so.
That is incredible. You're just blowing my every time. It's something new, I tell you. Oh, dude, that's so sick,
that's
though.
amazing.
That's really badass, dude.
Dude,
Yeah,
maybe if we
I
do
love
that,
it.
you could just come on the show as you would play a show.
Just
Right.
paint it up.
Yeah, dude, that'd be incredible. That'd be so sick.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Dude, that'd be
It's probably
sick.
great for, it's probably why my skin is so good, because I'm not rubbing acrylic paint on myself every night. It's like,
Yeah.
do not put it near your eyes. And I'm like,
Dude, dude, give everybody a shout out to where they could find all your stuff, your personal information on social media, and the bands you're playing.
Well, my bank account number is. But yeah, I mean, you can find my Instagram. I think my YouTube's under the same name. My Depop and everything else is all under at a very important Brain BRAIN_more MORE. That's on my socials, although I'm not mega active on them currently. But yeah, I have plans to. I want to put out some sort of album on my own thing. So, that might, I don't know what it sounds like or what kind of music it is, but be on the lookout for something about that. And, you can follow The Browning on social media. It's either at The Browning Band or at The Browning Official. And yeah, just hit me up. We'll talk about new metal or talk about whatever. So,
we're
Green
in.
Monster.
We're in.
Green Monster, new metal.
Monster,
you
hit
name
us up.
It. We're in.
Give us some free Monster
because
I need to be awake if I'm going to be talking to my friends for
about
long hours about new metal.
About Woodstock, the new metal Woodstock.
But also, if you like the show and you have comments or suggestions or anything like that, hit us up at worshipandtributenerd@gmail.com and we'll read yours on air.
If we remember.
And if not, we'll get to it.
Didn't you have an email to read on this?
We did.
We did, but I guess I didn't send it to Fuzz, and so then my phone is being used as our main camera. So we'll get to that
unless
soon.
I'm just an idiot.
Saw you sleeping at the airport, so making sure this isn't your flight.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for coming on, man. It was good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
It's great to see you. But yeah, if we want to do another new metal podcast, we'll bring you on, man.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be fun.
Yeah, hit me up for sure. I have some sick merch to wear on that show. So,
that's awesome. Dude, amazing.
That's so badass.
All right, it was lovely catching up, and see you later.
You too.
Bye, guys. Yeah, dude.
Bye. So yeah, do I just hang up on you then?
Later, dude.
Bye.